Good morning, students. Welcome back to Zoology webinar sessions of Model School for Senior Inter. Today, children, we have an interesting topic to discuss with. This is all about genes and genetics, isn't it? Study of genes is known as genetics. Genetics is nothing but hereditary and the variations. Even though we all belong to same genes, but we vary. Each one of us are very unique in nature, isn't it? Not only the phenotype, that is morphological what we are, but genetically we have to study why these variations are there in us. Okay, and do you all know that blood groups also vary in us. We don't have the same blood, isn't it? Blood groups are available, and in that especially the RH factor plays major role, isn't it? What is RH factor? It is rhesus factor. So what is this RS factor? Whether is any connection with the genes or not? Whether genes play a major role in handling this RH factor, we all will be knowing all this about all these things. Okay. Now, one more thing. The last but not the least in the session is about the erythroblastosis fetalis. What is this? This is a continuous death of the newborn fetus. That is before born only the baby will be stillborn. That is baby, like if she borns, if the baby is born also, the mother may be danger. So what is this all about? We'll be learning. So today we have a beautiful presenter today. We have Chandrika ma'am. Okay, she's PGT from Ramayanpet. Okay, so we welcome madam. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity. Shall I begin?
Yes, madam. Please take over the session.
Okay. Good morning, children. Today we are going to deal about the topic genetics. The other day I went to a party, children, a social gathering. Of course, in this pandemic, it has to be avoided, but it was not unavoidable. So there I met my paternal aunt. She was telling me that I resemble my father. That is shape of the nose, structure of the ears, the eyes, and the face, everything. Then she saw my sister. She was telling that my sister resembles my mother. She has round face and nose, stout nose, and free lobe ear. So these are the characteristics which are passed on from our parents to us. This is all about genetics. So let's begin the session. So in this chapter, we will have these points: heredity and variations, Morgan's experiment, pleiotropy, multiple alleles and human blood groups, RH blood types, genetic control on RH system, erythroblastosis fetalis, and polygenic inheritance. So children, why does an apple tree give rise to apple? Why not to mango or banana? Why do cats give birth to kittens? And why do dogs give birth to puppies? And you can see the difference, children. The puppies are not in the same color. Some are brown, some are black. You can see the kittens also. Some are brown, ash, some are striped black, right? Now, why do humans give birth to babies and those babies resemble each other like parents? Now, why do children look like their parents and why do brothers and sisters resemble each other? This is because we inherit traits from our parents. So, the passing of traits from parents to child is the basis of heredity. Now, you can see children here, asexual mode of reproduction. The best example is Hydra. You can see by the process of budding, it is giving rise to new Hydra. This is asexual mode of reproduction. Children, in this asexual mode of reproduction, there is only one single parent which is involved in reproduction. Now, let's see the sexual mode of reproduction. That is, it involves two parents, one male, one female. So, male, female. Now, the male will give rise to gamete, that is sperm, which is haploid, and the female will give rise to ovum, that is again haploid. Now, this is the ovum, children. This is the zona pellucida. These are the cells from follicle, and this is the ovum which is containing the nucleus, which is in the final stage of meiosis. This is the sperm, children. This has three parts: head, neck, and tail. Head contains acrosome and nucleus, plasma membrane, centriole, mitochondria, and the tail. Tail is useful for swimming of the sperm. Right, children? Mitochondria for the energy. And this is the nucleus, which has the genetic material. Now let's see. So children, after the fusion of ovum with the sperm, that is called as fertilization. That is, ovum is haploid, sperm is also haploid. Now, here in the mitosis and the meiosis and the binary fission, children, let's see the mitosis. Mitosis occurs in each and every part of the body except the brain and the heart. Yes, they don't divide, they grow. Meiosis happens in the reproductive organs. So children, this is the cell which has nucleus, and nucleus has chromosomes. You can see one single strand of nucleus, right children? Right? You can see the strands of DNA, right? Now children, this is one particular chromosome. Let's study that. This has two arms, that is the shorter one P arm, the longer one Q arm. So these two arms are binded with the centromere, right? So these are the sister chromatids. Children, there are four types of chromosomes. So the first is metacentric chromosome. Metacentric chromosome have the centromere in the center, which divides both the sections equally, right? So human chromosome are 1 and 3 metacentric. Now, submetacentric, you can see children, the centromere is moved slightly towards the P arm, that is, their centromere slightly offset from the center, leading to a slight asymmetry in the length of two sections. So, human chromosomes are 4 through 12 are metacentric. Then acrocentric, you can see children, the chromosomes, this is P arm, this is Q arm. So the center is leading one very long and very short section. So they have 13, 15, 21 and 22 are acrocentric. Now the last is telocentric chromosome. So children, they do not, we humans do not possess these telocentric chromosomes, right? They are found in mice. So you can see children, this is the mother set of chromosome, this is the father set of chromosome. Children, we all know that we have 23 pairs of chromosomes, 23 pairs, that is 46. 46 from mother, 46 from father. So what happens here? These are the 22 pairs of chromosomes which are called as autosomes. One pair of chromosome called as allosome. So this allosome is the sex chromosome. You can see children over here, mother has homologous sex chromosome, then father has heterogametic allosomes, that is X and Y. Now children, so during the process of fertilization, there is an exchange of chromosome, that is genetic material. A new form of DNA is formed, that is how we are born, that is you and I are born. So we do share the 22 pairs of autosomes from our father and mother equally. So this is XY or XX. Either XY is determined or XX. If it is XX, it is girl. If it is XY, it is boy. Now children, this is the sperm which has the Y chromosome. This is the ovum which has X chromosome. They both fuse together. As I told you children, the sperm and ovum are haploid in number. Haploid N. So N plus N is 2N. So diploid. The zygote is diploid now. Now the zygote undergoes the cleavage. Cleavage children, division of zygote, 2 cell, 4 cell, 8 cell and many cells are formed. This is how a new DNA is developed. A baby is formed with the characters of half of the father and half of the mother. Right? Very good. Now children, William Bateson coined the word genetics. It is derived from the Greek word that means genes, which means the origin of anything or a beginning. So children, genetic deals with the patterns of inheritance from parents to the offsprings, gene distribution, variation and change in the population. Now children, let's compare your traits with the traits of your parents, brothers, sister and grandparents. So the color of eye in you, in your father, mother, in your brother, sister, in your grandma and grandpa, that is color of hair, the shape of the nose, the shape of the face, usually round or oval, the type of earlobe. Children, the earlobe is free over here. Sometimes the earlobe is attached. So free earlobe or attached, right? Then type of hair, then inner thumb marking, then the skin color also matters. Now children, let's observe some of your friends. These are my friends children. So I have noted their characters. So my friend Seema has fair complexion. Her earlobes are free. So the marking of the inner side of the tongue is round. So length of the forehead is very broad. So the color of the cornea is blue, right? She has straight hair, long nose, and the face. Now these are some of my friends. So when I compare my traits with my friends' traits, they are completely different. When I compare my traits with my sister, we resemble each other in few points. This is because our parents are one. We share the same genotype and phenotypic ratio from our parents, right? Now, heredity and variation. Heredity refers to the transfer of traits down by our biological parents from one generation to the next. So these traits can be physical, such as eye color, blood type. Now, blood type. Yes, we will be dealing in the ABO blood group system, children, or a disease or behavioral. Now, genetic variations. We have genetic variations, children. In our own siblings also, we have genetic variations. These variations also occur, and these give rise to unique type of genes, that is you and me. Now, genetic variations refers to diversity in gene frequencies. Genetic variations can refers to differences between individuals or to differences between the populations. Now, as I told you children, heredity is the passing of traits from parents to offsprings, right? It is responsible of how your mother eyes and your father smile. Along with this inherited similarly, though there is also variations, as we are not exact clones of our mothers and fathers, right children? Because there is exchange of genetic material between the gametes, that is sperm and the ovum. We evolve, we are raised as a baby. So we do have a specific genetic material of our own, which is making us unique, right children? Right. Now, what is genetic variation? Polymorphism. Variations between individuals in a population, that is within the species. Now, substitutions. Fixed variations between individual or species, that is between the species. Now, these are the examples, children, genetic variation. You can see over here the father and the mother. The father have the cat-eye and the mother have the brown eye. The offsprings, they had the shape of the eye of the mother, but the pupil is slightly different. That is, iris is cat eye color, right children? So this cat eye is dominant over the brown eye. Now these are the genetic variations, children, the color of the cornea and the earlobes. So you can see children, here the earlobe is attached, here it is free. Now children, I like bitter gourd. My sister don't like it, but it has lot of nutritive value, so it can't be avoided. So sometimes I feel, we know we have studied in the 9th class also, genetic engineering, right? Our desirable characters are to be picked out, and undesirable characters which are not meant to us, that is, which are not eatable. So those can be removed. That is, the bitterness of the bitter gourd can be removed through genetic engineering. Is it interesting? Right. Now, the same way they had artificial breed. They have selected some desirable characters from the wild cows and they made the Sahiwal cow, which are from Punjab, right? So this is through the artificial selection. That is, children, we are selectively breeding through the desirable characters which we want. Now, Gregor John Mendel in 1857 stated that the chromosomes are the inherited structures which are passing from one generation to other. Those are called as genes, right children? So the organism inherit traits. Traits are nothing but, children, there are characters via distinct units of inheritance called as genes or cistones. Now, De Vries, Correns and Trechemark try to determine which molecules in the cell were responsible for inheritance. Sutton and Boveri theory. This is very interesting theory, children. So they identified that chromosomes are the characteristics. Sorry, repeat. So they identified that the chromosomes are the carriers of genetic material. So chromosomes are seen in all dividing cell and pass from one generation to the next through the genetic inheritance. Now children, you can see over here the parents, right? The male, the female, the gametes are segregated and the zygotes are formed. The new type of phenotypic and genotypic ratio has occurred. This is how the genetics occurred. Now children, Walter Sutton observed in grasshopper that the XX chromosome came, one chromosome came from the mother and the other chromosome came from the father. So through the meiosis, they are segregated. In the same era, the Theodore Boveri also experimented in the sea urchins. He stated that for proper embryonic development, chromosomal pairs are necessary. So these two scientists simultaneously worked differently, that is individually, the same theory. They stated that chromosomes comes in pairs and they have one pair of chromosome from the mother and one from the father, right? Now, so these resemble the Mendel's work. Children, before these theories were before these theories were came into existence, the Mendel's work was very ignored because it was not having any proof over there. That's the reason the Mendel's work was kept aside. But after this theory, that Mendel work was really give the appreciation, right? So the chromosomal theory of inheritance stated that chromosomes comes in pairs, that is homologous, one chromosome from mother and one from the father. As you see children, one from the mother and one from the father. Now the Mendel's work also stated the same, children. So factors, genes comes in pairs, one from the mother, another from the father. Now, so this is chromosomal theory of inheritance. Now, children, so different chromosomes assort independently in the gametes. So the same work was carried out by the Mendel, saying that law of independent assortment. So the each gamete independently formed during the gamete formation. You can see children, the gametes were segregated, right? So this is law of independent assortment. Now, chromosomal theory of inheritance in this last theory is, that is law of segregation. Chromosomes form a pair, segregate during meiosis. Children, we know that during the process of meiosis, 4 tetrads are formed, 4 gametes are formed, right? So one chromosome in each gamete. So law of segregation. So this was the work carried by the Sutton and Boveri, right children? So the chromosomal theory of inheritance. Individual genes are found at specific location on a particular chromosome. The pattern of behavior of the chromosome during meiosis explains as the Mendelian law as to why and how the genes are inherited. So Walton experimented on grasshopper children, the Theodore on the sea urchin. As I am telling you again children, the grasshopper has 2 pairs of chromosomes, one pair from chromosome from the mother, one from the father. The same way the sea urchins also are in the pairs of chromosomes. So the chromosomal theory of inheritance states that Sutton and Boveri were correct and that Mendel's work was also appreciated that time. Now, chromosomal theory of inheritance by Thomas Hunt Morgan. Children, when you leave a banana out there, so you can see tiny creatures creeping on the banana. Those tiny creatures are nothing but your fruit flies. Those are called as Drosophila melanogaster. Now, children, these tiny creatures are the genetical boon to the repeat. So these, now can I have some water? No. Okay, so Drosophila melanogaster, that is fruit fly. Now it completes life cycle in 2 weeks and produce large number of progeny. 4 pairs of chromosomes, 3 pairs of autosome and 1 pair of sex chromosome. So the female has homologous X chromosome and male has 1 X and 1 Y. Right children? Now the Drosophila melanogaster fruit fly has 4 pairs of chromosome, that is 8. And we humans have 23 pairs of chromosome, that is 46. But you know children, we and the fruit fly, that's Drosophila melanogaster, share 60% of similar chromosome. Isn't it wonderful? Yes, the Drosophila has only 4 pairs, that is 8. We do have 23 pairs, that is 46. Instead of that, we share 60% similar chromosomes, right? Now, so this was, so red-eyed female was mated with the white-eyed male. So the F1 generation all were red-eyed, right children? The female was red-eyed, the male was red-eyed, but it carried the Y chromosome in that. So now the female is again red-eyed, the male is again white-eyed. So they again mated between the red of the female and male. Now, as I told you children, these are homologous chromosomes. This is heterologous chromosomes. Now, the phenotypic ratio is 3:1, 3 reds and 1 white. So, genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. So, children, here we can say that the white-eyed male is expressed only in the males, right? So, here there is another experiment, children. The wild-eyed type, that is gray with normal wings, double mutant black vestigial wings were crossed. Now the dihybrid ratio was gray with normal wings mated with double mutant. So it produced wild type, black vestigial, gray vestigial, and the black normal. Here you can see the recombinant phenotypes and the parental phenotypes. Now we can say that the chromosomes are passing from one generation to the other, right? Now, children, from here we'll see the genetic types and how the genes are expressing its ways. This is pleiotropy. Now, a single gene often influences more than one phenotypic trait. Phenotype, morphological, physical, we can see phenotypic ratio, right children? So this phenomenon of multiple traits is called as pleiotropy. Now, a single gene, children, a single gene is producing multiple traits. Trait A, that is character A, character B, and character C. Now, this is pleiotropy is metabolism disorder. So it is autosomal recessive disease, is a rare inherited disorder that can cause an amino acid called phenylalanine to build up in the body. So phenylketonuria is caused by the defect in the gene that helps create the enzyme needed to break down the phenylalanine. Let's see through the chart, children. Now, unaffected mother, but she is a carrier, right children? She is having the carrier gene R. Unaffected carrier, that is father. Again, he is having the gene R. So the progeny are double R, R and small r with small r, and this is the recessive. So this is the expressive. So the abnormal metabolism of phenylalanine, that is the chromosome number 12. So its encoding gene gets mutated. So the phenylalanine hydrolase enzyme is not produced. So what happened next? Let's see. So the phenylalanine is hydrolyzed by phenylalanine hydrolase to form the tyrosine, thereby to the acetic acid. Now the phenylalanine hydrolase is muted. Then what happens? So there is no production of tyrosine. The phenylpyruvic acid is produced. Now this phenylpyruvic acid goes to the blood circulation and goes to the all parts of the body, circulates to the all parts of the body. What are the side effects? Let's see, children. So what happens over here is when it accumulates in the blood, it circulates to all parts of the body. In the brain, we have cerebrospinal fluid, right children? Cerebrospinal fluid, which is protecting the brain. Now it accumulates in the cerebrospinal fluid and it causes the mental retardation in the children. Now graying of hair is again other side effect, and the albinism is also again the side effect. Now children, you can see, once again I will explain you, the phenylalanine has to be hydrolyzed by phenylalanine hydrolase to form the tyrosine. So the gene is muted over here. So it produces the phenylpyruvic acid. So this is the side effects of the phenylpyruvic acid, that is mental retardation, because the cerebrospinal fluid is having that phenylpyruvic acid. I repeat, phenylpyruvic acid and the gray hair and the albinism. Now, it again causes cystic fibrosis, children. A thick, sticky mucus blocks the airway of the lungs, and it again hinders the pancreas secretion also. So these are the side effects, children. So this is chromosome number 7, the frequent lung infections, enlarged heart, gallstones, trouble digesting food, so fatty bowel movements, abnormal pancreatic functions, then trouble breathing, salty sweats. So these are the side effects of cystic fibrosis. That is phenylketonuria is not hydrolyzed by phenylalanine hydrolase. So it will form the phenyl pyruvic acid. So these are the causes. So again, it causes the sickle cell anemia. Children, we all know that RBCs are oval in shape, right? They form the Rolex form and they will move towards the blood vessel. Now we know, children, the RBCs carry the oxygen. That is, RBCs have the hemoglobin. So the hemoglobin will bind with the oxygen and it is transferred to the each and every part of the tissues. So the aerobic respiration takes place. That is what the energy is derived. Now children, what happens over here? The RBCs turned into sickle cell anemia. Sickle cell, you can see crescent moon shape. Crescent moon shape. Now this will block the blood flow. Again, it causes the sickle cell anemia and there is no blood flow. The person will become very weak and he can't perform his work. So children, these are the alleles. Chromosome from the parent 1, chromosome from the parent 2. You can see, children, the alleles. This is the height gene. This is the height gene on the locus, wrinkled and the smooth. Now children, each allele have 2 genes. So in multiple alleles, the gene has alternative form versions called as alleles. As we have seen, children, these are the alleles. Now they are present at the same locus in a pair of homologous chromosomes. You can see, children, these are homologous chromosomes. Now 2 alleles of a gene can form 3 types of genotypes in an diploid organism. When more than 2 allelic forms occur in the same locus on an homologous chromosome, they are called as multiple alleles. We'll see here, children. Now, chromosome from parent 1, chromosome from parent 2. You can see three types of genotypes, IA, IB, and IO. So these are the multiple alleles. These play an important role in the ABO blood group system. So let's get into it. So these multiple alleles cannot be seen in the individual children. It can be studied in the population. So the number of kinds of genotypes that can occur for multiple alleles is expression by n to the power of n plus 1 whole square of 2. N is the number of alleles. So example of multiple allelism in man is the expression of ABO blood types by 3 alleles IA, IB and IO for a single gene which can produce 6 genotypes. So Karl Landsteiner was awarded Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine in 1930. The phenotypes, blood types, that is A, B and ABO and O types. So let's study the blood group system, children. The Bernstein discovered that these genotypes were inherited by the interaction of 3 autosomal alleles of the gene named I, located at the chromosome number 9. So IA, IB and IO are the 3 alleles of the gene I. So the antibodies, that is anti-A and anti-B, are called as isoagglutinins, isohemoagglutinins, which are usually IgM type. So children, these are the blood types. We have studied in the 9th class, children. We have 4 blood groups, A, B, AB and O. Why do we call A, B, AB and O? It is because the presence of the antigen on the surface of the RBCs. Now children, these antigens are nothing but sugar polymers which are binded with the fatty lipid molecules and protrude out to the surface of the RBCs. I repeat, these antigens are sugar polymers which are binded with the fatty lipid molecules and they protrude out to the surface of the RBC. You can see here, children, A, B, AB and no. That is no. A or B antigens are not present in the O group. Now let's get into the details of each and every blood group. So these are called as isoagglutinogens because they cause blood agglutination in case of incompatible blood transfusion. So the alleles IA and IB are the production of the respective antigen A and B. The allele I do not produce any antigen. The alleles IA and IB are dominant to the allele I, but codominant to each other. That is, IA is equal to IB, but is greater than the I. Now, these blood groups are again transferred from our parents to the offsprings. Let's see how. Now, children, the blood group A contain the antigen A on the surface of the RBC and they have antibody B in the plasma. Children, make a note over here. The blood group A contains the antigen A on the surface of the RBC and antibody B on the plasma. Now, as I told you earlier, children, this antigen A is nothing but sugar polymer wrapped, bounded with the fatty molecules and protrude out on the surface. As you can see, children, it has protrude on the surface. That is antigen A. Now, blood group B has the antigen B on the surface of the RBC and these have antibody A in the plasma. Again, the antigen B is present in the surface of the RBC of the blood group B and the antibody A in the plasma. Now, blood group AB, children, here on the surface of the RBC, the A and B antigens are present. There is no antibody present in the plasma. Children, in the AB blood group, antigen A, antigen B are present on the surface of the RBC. There is no antibody. Now, children, in the blood group O, can you see anything on the surface of the RBC? No, right? So there is no antigen. There are no antigen present in the blood group O. That's the reason there is this O blood group is called as universal donor. We'll see it in the class, children. Now, this has antibody A and B in the plasma. Now, children, let's see the alleles. Now, red blood cell type A, B, AB, and O. Children, antigen present in the red blood cell. Antigen A on the surface of the RBC. Antigen B on the surface of the RBC of the B blood group. AB, you can see the A and B antigens on the surface of the RBC. Now, O do not have any antigen, right? Now, antibodies. They have antibody B on the A blood group, the antibody A on the B blood group, that is plasma. Now, there are no antibodies in the AB. Now, children, in the O blood group, there are A and B antibodies. So, the blood types incompatible in an emergency is A and O, B and O, AB, A, B, AB and O. Children, why? Because it has both the antigens, antigen A and B. So, it is compatible to the AB. Now, why the O? Because it do not have any antigens, right? The same thing, children. The genotype. Let's see the genotype. IA, IA, IAI. So, these are the genotypes of the A blood group, B blood group, IB, IB, IB and I. These are the genotypes of the B blood group. IA and IB are the genotypes of the A and B blood groups, and II and IO on the blood groups, neither A nor B. So this is the type O, right, children? So the antibodies present in the blood plasma are anti-B in the plasma, anti-B in the plasma, anti-A in the plasma, the anti-A in the plasma. Children, let's have a quick look on this also. So these are the alleles, children. IA will give rise to the A blood group. IB will give rise to IA and IB. IA and IA. This is the dominant, this is the recessive. So the blood group will be A. IB and IB. So that is AB blood group. IB, that is B blood group. IB and I, that is again B blood group. I and IA, that is IA and I. This is dominant, this is recessive. Again, the blood group is A. Then I and IB and I. Again, this is dominant, then this is recessive. B blood group. I and I will give rise to O. Why is that, children? Because it has the antigens on the surface of the RBCs. So the antigens present on the surface of the RBCs determine your blood group, right? Now, the type A phenotype blood contains IA and IA and I. Type B, IB and IB and I. Type A and B, IB and IA. Type O, I and I. As I told you, children, IB and IA are both are codominant to each other. Now, children, these are the anti-seras. Anti-sera A, anti-sera B, anti-sera D. These are useful to determine our blood group, right? So, how are the anti-seras produced? The plasma, that is RBCs, the erythrocytes from the monkey are taken and they were inserted in the guinea pigs or the rabbit. So these produce the anti-serums. So these are the anti-serums, children. So we need anti-sera A, anti-sera B, anti-sera RD. Now what is RD? This is RH system. We will deal about it, children. Then a porcelain white plate, wax pencil, needle, and the instruction manual. Now slowly sterilize your finger, children. Prick it with needle, sterilize needle, and place 3 drops of blood on the porcelain plate. Now drop 1 drop of the anti-sera A in the first drop, anti-sera B in the second drop, anti-sera D in the third drop. Now the first anti-sera A is agglutinated RBCs. Now because it has antigen A and it binds with the antibodies, it coagulates. So the blood group A has antigen A on the surface of the RBC. Now the phenotype, blood type is type A, genotype IA and IA and the I. Now the blood group B. The same way, children, sterilize your hand, take a sterilized needle, prick it, and take 3 drops on the porcelain plate. Now add anti-sera A to the first drop, anti-sera B to the second drop, anti-sera D to the third drop. Now we can see that agglutination occurs in the second drop. This means the blood group is B. So the phenotype blood is type B. Genotype is IB and IB and I. Now the blood group A and B. Now children, you can see both A and B are agglutinated. They have clot. That anti-sera D also is clotting. Now the phenotype of the blood type is AB. Genotype is IA and IB. Children, in the AB blood group we have both antigen A and antigen B, right? Now O blood group. None of these were coagulated. So this means both, because O blood group do not have any antigens, right children? Now the type O is phenotype, genotype is II, right? So these are about blood groups, children. Once again, let's memorize. Now the blood group A has antigen A on the surface, blood group B has antigen B on the surface of the RBC, antigen AB are present on the surface of the blood group, that is A and B. O blood group do not have any antigens on the surface of RBC. You can see, children, the father is AB blood group and the mother is O blood group, right? These are the types of blood group can be obtained. Just try these blood groups by your father and mother also, children, by sharing this. See, this is the blood group of your father, IA and IB. Let's assume this. Then mother, IO and IO, O and AB. Now, IA and IO, that is A, IA and IO, that is A blood group, then B. So 2 A's and 2 B blood groups are obtained in the AB and O blood group, right? Now, why it is important, children? Why the AB blood groups are important? During the blood transfusion, we have to be very careful. We have to take the consideration of recipient antibodies, because this will clot. So universal recipient, AB is the universal recipient because the plasma of AB blood group do not have any antagonist antibodies. As I told you, children, AB blood group have only 2 antigens on the surface, both A and B. They do not have any antibodies in the plasma. That's the reason these are called as universal recipient. So they do not cause any agglutination of A, B and O blood groups. So universal donor, that is O, because children, this O blood group do not have any antigens, neither A nor B on the surface of the RBCs, right? They do have the antibodies in the plasma, that is A and B. That's the reason they are called as universal donors, that is RBC of O blood group have no antigens, so these do not cause agglutination of A, B and O blood groups. So once again, children, you can see clearly over here, universal donor, that is O blood group, they do not have any antigens on the surface. So that happily they can donate to A, B and AB. You can see over here, children, the A blood group has the A antigens, B blood group has the B antigens, AB has the A and B antigens. So this is universal recipient, this is the universal donor. Children, why is this called as universal recipient? Because it do not have any specific antibodies. That's the reason it is universal recipient. This do not have any specific antigens on the surface. So this is called as universal donor, that is O blood group. O blood group, AB blood group. I repeat again, children, the universal donor is called as O blood group because it do not have any specific antigens on the surface of the RBC. Now, this is the AB blood group, which is called as universal recipient because it do not have any specific antibodies. So children, you can see over here A, B, A, B, O. A, B, A, B, O. How? What is this plus and minus? Plus, minus. This is nothing but the RH system. RH system. So let's study more about it, children. So RH blood types were discovered by Karl Landsteiner and Alexander Werner in the rhesus monkey. So that's the reason it is called as RH factor. So these are the proteins which are chemical in proteins are chemical in nature. There are 49 RH antigens, but only D antigen is the most important because it is highly immunogenic. So children, you can see once again over here, blood type A has the antigens on the surface, blood type B antigens on the surface B, blood type AB antigen A and B on the surface of the RBC, blood type O do not have any antigens. Now RH, so the RH, these are the RH, the antigens are on the surface of the RBC. Now children, on the surface of the RBC, we do have antigens as well as RH, the antigen on the surface of the blood group. What is this RH antigen? What are the effects of this? Let's see it. So these are the antigens, children, right? These are the antibodies. Now children, RH positive person will have the D antigen on the surface of the RBC. Then RH negative person will not have any specific antigen on the surface. RH negative, RH positive. So depending on the presence of the D antigen on the surface, these are called as RH positive, then RH negative. Now, they discovered another antigen called as RH antigen or RH factors on the surface of RBC. RH factors is the most immunogenic D antigen of RH blood group system. So the presence of D antigen will say that we are positive, A positive, B positive, AB positive and O positive. Children, this A denotes our blood group, that is the presence of antigen on the blood surface, that is RBC, right? Now, this negative sign will denote that there is no specific D antigen on the surface of the RBC, right? Now, the RH negative person, the RH positive person. So, when the RH negative person is exposed to the RH positive blood cells, the anti-D antibodies are formed for the first time. So, RH positive person can receive RH negative blood cells without any consequent effect or complications. I repeat, children, RH negative person, if he is exposed to the RH positive blood cells, it is erythrocytes for the first time, anti-D antibodies are formed. So the genetic control of RH system, Fisher and Ray's hypothesis. So he stated that RH factor involves 3 different pairs of alleles located at 3 different closely linked loci on the chromosome pair 1, that is capital C, small c, D, capital D and small d, and capital E and small e, commonly used as CDE nomenclature. Now we can see, children, homologous pair 1. This 3 loci showing the 2 alleles. Loci 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So these are the 3 loci showing the 2 alleles per locus. As I told you, capital C or small c, capital D or small d, capital E or small e. Again, I repeat, children, these are present on the chromosome pair 1. So they have 3 loci and 2 different alleles per locus. So the possible genotypes will have 1C or small c, 1D or smaller d, 1E or smaller e from each chromosome. For example, CDE, both are, see children, these 3 are capitals. So D is the dominant. So the person with the D capital will have the RH positive. Now here, this is RH negative. So the genotypes carrying the dominant allele are RH positive. Double recessive genotype DD are RH negative. You can see here, children, the CDE negative. As I told you, children, when we have the capitals, that is dominant genes, that is RH positive. When these are in smaller letters, that is recessive. So this is negative. That means, children, the RBC do not have the specific antigen, that is D antigen on the surface of the RBC, right? So then capital C, D, E / C, D, E, positive. You can see children over here, the capitals we play a major role, that is the D antigen. So all genotypes carrying a dominant allele will produce Rh positive phenotypes, and double recessive genotype double D will give rise to Rh negative phenotype. Now, Vernier hypothesis, children, is stated R1, R2, RO, RZ, small r1, 2, and Ry. So, existence of 8 alleles at a single Rh locus. So, all genotypes carrying a dominant R allele. As I told you, children, the capitals will produce the Rh positive. The small ones will produce the Rh negative. What is this capital? What is small? Nothing as much, children. The capital means the dominant. Smaller ones mean the recessive, right? So the genotype or the status, both are recessive negative, that is Rh negative. This is having the dominant allele, the recessive allele positive. So both are dominant positive. So R2, then again dominant positive, positive and the positive. So the presence of the D antigen on the surface of the RBC will determine the Rh status. If the antigen is present, D antigen is present on the surface of the RBC, it is Rh positive. If there is no antigen on the surface of the RBC, it is negative. Now children, erythroblastosis fetalis, it is a condition, it is a hemolytic disease of newborn, right? Let's see it. It is an autoimmune disease. It happens when Rh positive father will marry an Rh negative mother. I repeat, Rh positive father will marry a Rh negative mother. That is, Rh positive means, children, the father is having the D antigen on the surface of the RBC, right? Then Rh negative mother, she do not have any antigen, that is D antigen, on the surface of the RBC. So what is the fate of the fetus? Let's see. So the expression, that is Rh positive, the fetus is Rh positive. So let's see the fate of the child. Now children, this is the placenta, this is the umbilical artery, that is infant. Now children, this is the placental arteriole, that is maternal mother's, placental venule, maternal, this is the maternal pool blood. Children, always remember, during the stage of gestation, there is no mixing of mother's blood and the child's blood. So those are separated by the chorion. This, you can see, children, the embryonic chorion isolates the fetal blood from the mother blood pool. She only supplies the blood through the chorionic villi, by the gaps of the chorionic villi, right? So during pasteurization, that is during birth, during the delivery, the placenta breaks. What happens during delivery? The placenta breaks and ruptures and baby comes out. Now, what happens over here? That the RBC have D antigen. Who, children? The baby, the fetus has D antigen on the surface of the RBC. You can see over, children. It has D antigen on the RBC. Now, the Rh sensitization occurs in the mother's blood, because the mother's blood is first time encountering with the Rh D antigen. So immediately these are recognized by the B cells. With the help of helper T cell, plasma B cells will synthesize antibodies for the D antigen. That is, IgM antibodies are produced. This is the initial response. This is the initial response of the mother's body. So this initial exposure to the Rh antigen during the first pregnancy do not cause any erythroblastosis fetalis, because children, by the time the pasteurization, that is birth, takes place, the baby is out safe and sound, but that blood is mixed with the fetus, the mother's blood, the fetal blood is mixed with the mother's blood, because the placenta has broken, right, children? Now that bodies, the IgM antibodies are produced in the mother. Now those are acting as the memory cells. I again repeat, children, when during pasteurization, during the childbirth, when the placental barrier breaks, that is, the child has RBC with D antigen, so it is encountering with the mother's blood. So the mother's blood will get sensitized. So the B cells will recognize that. With the help of helper T cells, the plasma B cells are producing what antibodies, children? Yes, those are IgM antibodies for the first time as the initial response. Now children, the baby is out healthy and hale and healthy. Now the mother is sensitized for either initial response by synthesizing the IgM antibodies, right? So those are memory cells in the mother's blood circulation. Now You can see over children, the first exposure, birth of the first Rh infant. This is the infant blood. During pasteurization, the placenta breaks, right children? The RBCs are entering toward the maternal blood. So, which are Rh negative, this is Rh positive. These RBCs will have D antigen on the surface, right children? Now, when the maternal blood recognizes it will sensitize and it will release the IgM antibodies, right? This happens for the first exposure of birth. Now, during the second exposure of the fetus, now the infant blood, right children? Infant blood. Now the infant, the Rh positive infant is repeat. So this is Rh. Is my connection fine, ma'am?
Yes,
ma'am?
yes.
Connection fine, ma'am?
Yes. Yes.
My connection unstable.
Continue.
Sorry. Sorry. Okay. Shall I continue?
No, it's like, yeah. Continue.
Okay. Connection unstable.
No, we are live. You can continue.
No. Okay, ma'am. Now, children, the infant blood is again Rh positive now, but the maternal blood has the Ig antibodies, IgG antibodies readily. Now they will attack. They will pass through the fetal circulation and they will attack the RBCs. Now the RBCs undergo the hemolysis. Hemolysis. Hemo means blood. Lysis means breakdown. So hemolysis occur in the fetus of the baby which is having the Rh antigen. This is the hemolysis, children. Rupturing of the erythrocyte and the release of the contents into blood plasma. Now children, when the hemolysis occur, now the more amount of RBCs are required by the fetus. Now it will give information to the bone marrow, liver and the spleen. Now the liver, spleen and bone marrow will produce more amount of RBCs. But children, this reaction is very rapid. The IgG antibodies are severely attacking the baby's Rh positive antigen. Now what happens? Hemolysis occurs in very severe rate, very fast rate. Now the bone marrow has to speed up the process of erythrocyte production. In this process, many immature erythrocytes are produced. Bone marrow, it will produce the RBCs, WBCs and the platelets. The liver and the spleen also will produce the RBCs. So the process is so fast that they have to produce more number of erythrocytes which are very immature. So the immature erythrocytes will cause problem to the fetus. Now children, to compensate the hemolysis, more number of RBCs are produced in the above organs. Now the symptoms of erythroblastosis fetalis. This will cause anemia. Obviously, children, if the RBC production is low, this will cause the anemia and jaundice to the baby, right? This is the baby who is affected with the jaundice, yellowing of eyes, yellowing of skin. Excess bilirubin is in the blood because children, when RBCs are broken down and form bilirubin, which causes jaundice, right? These are the effects of the erythroblastosis fetalis, children. So in very rare cases also, children will die because of this erythroblastosis fetalis. By God's grace, because of the scientists, we have come out with a lot of injections. Let's see about that. So prevention of erythroblastosis fetalis. When the mother is Rh negative and when the fetus is Rh positive, anti-G antibodies Rho-D immunoglobulin are to be administered in 28 weeks and 38 weeks. Why? Why is that? Why it is in the 28 weeks? Because children, in the 28th week, the fetus will express the D antigen on the surface of the RBC. I repeat myself, children, this Rho-D immunoglobulin injection has to be administered to the Rh negative mother at the 28 weeks, because in 28th week the baby will he will inherit the Rh antigen on the RBC. Now prevention of erythroblastosis fetalis, that is after birth. So after birth, children, the anti-D antibody should be given soon after delivery. It develops the passive immunity. It destroys the Rh fetus erythrocytes before the mother immune system is sensitized. This has to be done every time the lady is pregnant. Now children, this is about the erythroblastophetalis, Rh factor and the blood groups. Let's see about the polygenic inheritance. Poly means children more than one characteristic is expressed in the genes, right? Usually children, one gene expresses only one character. Here the one gene expresses various number of characters. Let's see what is that. Polygenic inheritance occurs when one characteristic is controlled by two or more genes. Often the genes are large in quantity but small in effect. Example of human polygenic inheritance are height, skin color, eye color and weight. Polygenes exist in other organisms as well. So children, the quantitative characters indicated that cumulative effect of two or more genes on the single phenotype character. Example is skin color of man. A, B, C are dominant alleles. Small a, small b, small c are recessive alleles. Children, we have seen previously also the bigger letter, the capital letter will state it is dominant. The smaller letter will state it is recessive, right? Very good. Now the A, B, C are dominant alleles. Small a, small b, small c are recessive alleles. So A, B, C, capital A, B, C are dominant. They will cause the skin color which is very dark. Now the recessive one for light skin color. Children, usually we get humiliated by the color of the skin. I do get humiliated many times in my life because my skin color is very dark. It is not because, repeat, it's because of the pigment called as melanin, which is produced more amount in me, less in the person who is fair. So never discriminate any person on the basis of color, caste or creed. Right children, this is the reason behind why we are dark, why you are fair. Let's see, these are different skin color phenotypes that could result from mating between capital A, smaller b, smaller a, capital B, small b, capital C and small b, heterozygous organisms. These are heterozygous organisms. Now children, you can see fair in complexion. These have the recessive gene. That's the reason the boy is fair in complexion. Intermediate. Children, you can see capital A, capital B, small b, capital C, small c. This is intermediate shade. Now children, here all the letters, that is all the genes are dominant. He is very dark. Depending on the genes, the color of the person is determined. Right children? In this manner, the number of each type of alleles in the genotype would determine the degree of darkness or lightness of the skin in an individual. Now children, various, that is sunlight also affects the type of the skin texture, because upon the exposure of sunlight, melanin, that is melanocytes produce more amount of pigment, that is melanin. That's the reason you get tanned when you go out in the summer. This is the reason children, when you're exposed to sunlight, that melanocytes will secrete the pigment, that is melanin. That, as I told you children, somebody is dark, somebody is fair because of the pigment melanin. If the pigment melanin is more, that is if the person is dark. If the pigment is less and the person is very fair. As I told you, in the polygenic inheritance also, the genes are also determined, right children? You can see over here, the recessive one, the dominant one, right? Ma'am, I'm done. What we have learned. So what we have learned children, heredity and variation, Morgan's experiment. Ma'am?
Yes, you can continue. You want to revise it, no? Just go for half a minute.
Okay. Multiple alleles and human blood groups, Rh blood types, erythroblastosis fetalis, polygenic inheritance. Now children, this chapter have very important features, because in this, the blueprint, we have 8 marks, 4 marks and 2 marks questions. So what are these? This is the 8 marks question which can be asked from this genetics chapter, children. What are multiple alleles? Describe multiple alleles, the help of ABO blood groups in man. Briefly mention in the contribution of T.H. Morgan to genetics. Describe erythroblastosis fetalis, which is very important, children, 4 marks question. This multiple alleles, 8 marks, erythroblastosis fetalis is 4 marks. You can expect children in the board exam. Then 2 marks, what is pleiotrope? What is polygenic inheritance? Then what are the antigens causing ABO blood grouping? Where are they present? What are the antibodies causing ABO blood grouping? Where are they present? Children, I hope this session have enlightened you the genetics part. In the next session, we will be learning about sex determination, sex-linked inheritance. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, madam. Madam Chandrika, madam, it's
Ma'am.
not about the color. You know that one thing, like those who
Ma'am.
are darker in color, okay,
Yes, ma'am.
they age less. The fair skinned
That's
people, they age faster than the dark people. And by heart, they are very, very beautiful. Okay, that is more important.
Thank you, ma'am.
And
Yes, ma'am.
like really, the session was very good. And we thank you very
Thank you.
much. Children, please revisit the channel and write down all the notes. As ma'am told, it is very, very important chapter for IP point of view. Thank you, children.
Thank you, ma'am. Shall I off it, ma'am?
No, you just be there. Ma'am will